This is work in progress. Work in progress here. Jeff Garino coming to you. I am hosting solo again. Wishing the best to my co-hosts wherever they are, and hope they're healthy and happy and doing well. Today we have a great special guest, Aspen Powers, who is a founder and CEO of Vargo Media and also of Travelpolitans, which is a very interesting concept. It combines a couple of different things, but has very much to do with travel. And we are excited to have him here and tell us a little bit about his projects, what's going on with him. Aspen and I have known each other for a little over 5 years now, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Time has become irrelevant for me after this COVID thing. I don't even know.
Yeah,
it's like before and after, So I'm going to let Aspen give us a little background about who he is and what he's doing. Aspen has been here before in Iceland. This is why I wanted to have him on. And he has some very big projects and things in the works coming up. And it should be pretty exciting for the travel industry as a whole. So, Aspen, take it away. Let them know who you are.
Good friend. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to do this with you and to share a little bit of who I am, what we're doing, and how we can certainly help. I've been to Iceland a few times. I love Iceland. I've actually been there 4 times, and we're getting ready to come back in a few months. But a little bit about myself. I'm a corporate executive who was kind of like had an entrepreneurial spirit that just would never die. So I just kept trying a few things, and left corporate America, went into entertainment, tried a little bit of modeling. Then I got fat. I got the chub whoop, and then I lost jobs and get many jobs. And I was like, you know what? That's okay. I'll do television, right? Not realizing television was a little bit harder. But, when you've got your head in the clouds and you're just kind of on your own mission, you fall, get up, fall, get up, fall, get up, and kind of becomes an ongoing journey that just never ends. But through that, I've learned quite a bit. And I actually had a traveling TV dance show that I had worked on for a number of years. And once we got it to the point of like getting ready to launch it, I was working with a few music agents and a few people in Hollywood, and they're like, this isn't the right time for this kind of show. So, however, stay in television, stay there and pursue that. In about that time, I was headed to Sweden, kind of just like decompress and clear my head and try and think of a new idea. And I was a big Anthony Bourdain fan, and still am actually. So during the trip, I was watching, his television series, and I was like, you know what? I love what he does. I want to do something similar, and so I ended up going from, I was going on my way to Sweden, but I ended up doing the Iceland stopover, and I was like, wow. Someone had told me about it, and I was like, yeah, that's not true. But lo and behold, it is true, and I've done it a few times. I will continue to do this as I live my life. Iceland is such an amazing place, and I recommend that everyone please go, because you don't even know what you're missing out on. You're missing out on so much. It's beautiful. There's such a contrast. With nature, and the people are just really friendly. So it's a great place to be, and the food isn't really good too. But while I was there, I kind of pursued putting this idea together, came back to America, and I found a distributor at the time that was working with Netflix, and I pitched him on my idea of doing a television series. And it was basically Anthony Bourdain type, but with a travel group. And, I guess I would be that younger, darker, sexier version of who he was, with this travel group, and having like immersive experiences with food, people, culture, and just kind of bringing people along through the journey. And basically, it's an inspirational docuseries that we will be filming soon. So When I came there, I met with True North, and we had a very, very successful meeting. So we'll be working with them, and we are really, really excited about that. And and right when we were putting everything together, then COVID hit, and it was like,
yay, COVID.
a little bit of wind out of our sails. However, they didn't get it all. You leave me with a little,
Hey.
I'm coming back. Right. So, it was really good. It's just one of those things, you fall down, you just got to get back up. And every time you get up, you're getting up with a little bit more experience, a little bit more know-how, and a little bit more of the unknown. You just got to push your way through it. So that's what we've been doing. And during that time of the pandemic, we had like a little slowdown period. I came up with this crazy idea to create like a white glove end-to-end travel service, right? And it's called Travelpolitans Go. And right now we're building.
Now wait a minute. Now we have to for the audience, let them know what a Travelpolitan is. You came up with this through your various travels, because you've been around. You've done a lot of traveling. So and you kind of came up with this. So let them know what that's all about.
Yeah, I certainly can do that. So a Travelpolitan is a person who is at ease and they're comfortable no matter what environment or culture that they're in. It's about the whole experience from beginning to end. And it's really, I would call it cultural empathy, to make it short. That's what the word is really all about. And sometimes when people see the word, they're like, oh, Travelpolitan? No. I mean, travel politician is what they say, right? Then I've got to kind of correct them and say, no, this
Not a politician, please.
Right? So take the word like Cosmopolitan magazine, right? Take the word cosmopolitan, take Cosmo off of that word and replace it with travel. You get Travelpolitans. Then they're like, oh, I get it. That's great. And then once they learn what the definition is, if they haven't traveled, they want to be one. And then they say, how can I be one? The simple way to be one is just to start, right? Start traveling. And Travelpolitans travel frequently, and they are just comfortable no matter where they are. Because here's the understanding that Travelpolitans have. The world, your neighborhood, you are welcomed everywhere you go. Right. And it's just really that simple. You learn a lot about yourself during that process. You learn a lot about other people, because I'm traveling now. Right now, I'm in Miami. It's a little chilly here right now. Everyone thinks of Miami. We're experiencing the Miami winter. And right now it's a little bit cold, but it'll bounce back and become warm again in the next few days. And that's okay. But I'm here because we were originally going to the NATD television conference, and that's the National Association of Television Producers and Executives. And that television conference happens every January, every year. And this year it was canceled. I had meetings, with various television networks. We've now moved those meetings to a virtual setting. For me, there's nothing like meeting people face to face, right? And being, even if you're 10 feet apart, but just being in the same environment and being able to vibe with whomever you're talking to. So now that it's canceled, we're doing, we've got the virtual meetings coming up, so we'll stick with that, and and get the show that we're the docuseries that we're filming on a television network for sure. But back to Travelpolitans Go, the white glove service app. We're really excited about that, because that app is a very, very simple travel app where you will be able to do everything within that app regarding travel. So that means when you get your travel inspiration to travel, the first thing that you do is you save, then you plan, and then you book, and then you travel. right? So those are the 4 stages that Travelpolitans go. The platform itself will handle for you. And you can travel 2 ways. You can travel any way that you want. You know, your traveling style, you don't have to get an end-to-end service package or anything like that, or book your trip end-to-end. You can book it however you want it. But, you know, the basic crux of our service is that we do end-to-end travel. So when you're traveling with us, you start the saving, you do the planning, you book it, then you travel. But when you travel, we come, we pick you up, drive you to the airport, and that's your pre-flight transportation. You get to the airport, you access the airport lounge, then you get on your flight, then you get to where you're going. You do your various activities and excursions, and you see your family, or, you know, fly by the seat of your pants and travel fast or travel slow by hopping around to various cities within the time, your desired time frame that you have for yourself to travel. And then you come back the same way if you're going home. You know, or you're returning to the destination that you've gone to. So, you know, we're excited about it because the platform itself will be part of the product placement within the television series. It'll be like a small part of the storyline. You know, you'll see people using the app, you know, for various different things, you know, but we kind of don't talk about that too much. You know, we'd rather
It's all new. It's all still, It's all still
we'd rather show you than
Yeah.
tell you. So that's why we really don't speak about it too much. And you know, and also the television series. It's really about the compelling stories from these 7 strangers who are on a critical adventure from America in Miami, Florida to Iceland. So they're going from paradise, right? Tropical paradise to the land of fire and ice, right? So how exciting is that? Like, you know, you're going from,
well, it's definitely 2 different, it's
well,
kind of a 2 different
so
levels of.
that's what's great about it, is because that contrast is the theme, right? So you've got the tropics, then you got the land of fire and ice, and you're going to a land of contrast. It works, right? Like it or
See, now
not,
all this,
it works.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I will. All this sounds good. I really like the app idea, especially in these times, because, you know, it's kind of crazy. You know, things get changed around, and it'd be nice to have something that you can kind of just set and forget and kind of be insured. Maybe I think there's an insurance involved.
Yeah,
with the
so
app.
yes, there's insurance. You know, your travel is protected throughout the entire process.
No, but I wanted to get on what you were saying about taking a group of people from Miami to Iceland. Now, being in Iceland and being an Icelander, I am technically. Thank you very much.
Yes, you are.
You know, a lot of people have a lot of expectations that might not be, you know, exactly in line with what actually goes on. So I was interested when you were talking about being a Travelpolitan, someone who kind of appreciates the culture. You've been here a few times, so you know what people say, and then when you actually experience it, can be 2 different things.
Oh yeah, of course.
And sometimes there's been some clashes with the tourism in Iceland with the regular people, because it's kind of ramped pretty quickly in Iceland. I mean, I remember when I got here in 2002, it wasn't that many tourists, and then, like, I don't know, maybe 5 years after that, it started to really pick up steam, and you know, hotels started going up, and it kind of changed things a lot. So, question is, were there any things that you experienced that you were surprised, or things that someone traveling should be aware of and open to, and to get the most out of a travel experience?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, I'm a little bit different when traveling in general, because I leave room for people to just be people, right? And here's what I mean by that. Human beings are like the weather. You have to accept them for who they are, where they are, because you just can't change anything about them. Can't change the weather, can't change people. So within the travel experience, good and bad, because it's not always beautiful. You're going to experience things are going to happen, and it's not always so grand and glorious. You're going to have moments. You'll even have moments of being so lonely. You're going to be like, what am I doing? Right? And that's okay, because that's where you really learn who you are. Right? You're going to have moments where and they're going to be so unexpected. And what I mean by unexpected moments is when you meet people and you share stories. That is important, because every living human being that can speak, where you can communicate, has a story. There's so much value in that story. Have you, and think about this one thing, have you ever sat in a coffee shop or in a nightclub when you're out and you're looking around and you put on your voyeur hat and you're just watching people and you're people watching and you're just wondering like, wow, who is this person? What is their story? The value comes when you exchange stories and you meet people, because I've learned from traveling, you never know who you're going to meet, and you cannot judge by the exterior, because once you do, you lose.
I mean, that was something like, for me personally, what really was a nice surprise when I came to Iceland. I didn't have any expectations because I didn't know much about Iceland. Like I think many Americans don't know much about Iceland. They know maybe a little bit more now, but the thing that really struck me was the lack of pretense. Like this, like I call my doctor by his first name. I never, Dr. So-and-so, there's not this kind of pretentious kind of attitude. People are just working, they're doing their thing. There's not, and in the States, there's definite like ways to approach people, But here it seems to me most of the people here are pretty much straightforward. It is what it is. There's no need to get, starstruck or whatever. So like, was there anything particular that kind of surprised you about?
Yeah. And that is it. That what you're talking about is it. And this is kind of like a philosophy that I learned just from coming to Iceland, is you just accept people for who they are, where they are. One, because you never know like what the next person's mindset is, what their experience has been like, what they're personally going through. And COVID itself has taught us that lesson, right? So, and I have gone through so many experiences through this, pandemic, epidemic, crisis, whatever you want to call it, because like even just recently, I experienced, 4 deaths within a span of 5 days. Now, one person was extremely close to me. That rocked my world, right? And then the other people I just kind of knew. And a lot of times when you're in situations with people, and we all know this, and we all do this every day, you never know how long someone's going to be here, how long they're going to be around, and when you're never going to see them again, right? So when I talk about like the shared experience with people, there's so much honor and truth in that, because when I went to Iceland and I saw how people were and how they treated, everyone, there's so much truth in that, right? The acceptance is everything. The acceptance of the truth is everything of what you're getting, right? Even if someone is being fake in that moment, there's being truth in that. The truth is they're being fake. Right. So you're just rolling with it. You're just rolling with it. And then and you just got to go with it. And that's it. But that's part of like the cultural empathy thing that I really learned. And I had just had a discussion the other day about like Nordic and Scandinavian countries and why they're so happy. And I think it's because there's a different way of life that they live. Number one. And when you look at that versus your country or your culture or where you came from, there's so many lessons to learn. Because I just learned a lesson from a woman here in Miami. Her husband is from Finland. And she was giving me a little bit about his culture and what she had learned. And she told me one of the things that she had learned was that the Finnish people were slaves. I was like, what? Never heard such a thing. And then she kind of like, because and let me tell you, I can definitely classify that as my own personal ignorance because I just didn't know. I'm okay with that because now I'm willing to take it a step further and learn more, right? And
now, see, you brought up a really good point. You know, it's like when we met, it was an interesting time because I had pretty much just moved to Iceland, and it was the first time I left the United States, and I had no understanding of I know people from different parts of the world. Being in the United States, you meet people from different parts of the world, but actually traveling there and traveling to different places kind of changes. It changed me, as you know. So what I would, what's curious to me was like when you were talking about the show and Travelpolitans, I was like, I never thought of how it integrates into people's lives. And what you just said, you met this woman and her husband's from another country, and the things that she learned and took away from that, in the world we have today, boundaries are like, paper thin, the world is a lot smaller than it's ever been, and I think travel is a great way to educate yourself, broaden your horizons. Not only do you know about yourself, but you get an understanding about the world and how people see things different, and it might help you, give yourself a broader way of seeing things, which is really the benefit, I think, of traveling, period. Just getting out and just being around different people with different points of view. Like I said, Iceland was the first place I came. And then when I got here, I went to Denmark, and then I went to where did we go? Went to Poland, and just being in different places. I got to go to well, I don't even want to like I got to go, but I went to Auschwitz, and it's something that I had read in a book and I'd seen movies, but actually going there floored me. Actually being there was really heavy, but it also it entrenched like things that I held my beliefs and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, traveling, just to put another fine point on it, I think is a great way to I don't know, man. Life is so short, we're learning that with COVID that if you can, you should. Life is like this big bouquet of different flowers, and you should, smell as many as you can, or something like that. I don't know.
Sure.
But that is a great. That's why I really was into when we actually met, and you were talking about being a Travelpolitan, and you were bringing these ideas, and I was like, oh yeah, this sounds good. So yeah, but continue on. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that was well said.
You have family that's around, and as a matter of fact, who is our director, the director for the show? His background is pretty varied as well, right?
Yes.
Which I think was maybe one of the reasons you ended up in Miami.
Yeah, well, so he has worked on so many television series, and when I pitched this idea, in fact, I was with him last night. I'll see him in less than an hour today. We're going out and doing a few things, but when I pitched this idea to him, he was like, I'm all in, because this is amazing. You get 7 strangers together traveling to a place they've never been, and they get to experience the food, culture, and people in their own way and tell their own story. One of the valuable lessons that, and kind of almost like a philosophy that I tell all these hardcore loving Americans, right? Americans, we are unique in many different ways, just as much as anyone else. It's awesome to love your country. It's okay to love others. at the same time with the same level
There
of
you go.
love, right? So,
Yeah.
and I say that because when you're brought into this world, yeah, you're brought into parents who may be into a territory and a certain destination. You're not locked in. You're not locked in. You can go, you can travel, you can do things. Because I look at it this way. I believe that God created this amazing world and he made it like a great big mansion. Why in the world would you ever want to stay in one room in a mansion and just stay there? If you want to do that, that's okay. But for me, I want to experience all the other rooms in the house. I want to go outside. I want to go here. I want to go there. So, it's we're here not only to benefit ourselves, but to benefit others. You can do that through travel and make a world of a difference. Really can. You can change your life. If you think about how we use technology, yes, the world is small. The world is certainly smaller now because we can connect. You can do all your doctor visits, through telemedicine and so forth. And and when it comes time to do certain things, you do have to go to designated places to do the x-rays and get things done. However, but, travel is so important. And it's not only important for, your well-being, but it's important for your entire world, well-being, your head, your mind, your body, and your soul. So, those things, I don't underestimate travel. And I learned one time I was in the Charlotte, North Carolina airport coming back from a Thanksgiving time with my family. And this young kid walked up to me and he said to me, "You've been to Iceland?" And the only reason he said that was because I had on the Iceland hat and he saw it. And he asked
Oh,
me,
you got suckered in. You bought one of those tourist hats.
I did. I'll do a tourist experience all for a hot second, then I'm done with it because I don't want to be that guy. But I've had my tourist moments, and then I learned, no. I'm not a tourist. I'm a traveler. There's a distinct difference, right? There's a distinct difference between a tourist and a traveler. It's almost like oil and water, And so I did, and I shared my experiences with him, and he was actually going to Iceland within 2 days, and he just said it was so good to see someone, that had experienced Iceland that he could ask and talk to. I was floored because I had that hat on, that's my hat I wear through that, when I'm traveling sometimes, just because I know someone might ask. I wear it all the time now since then.
So I want to ask you, what?
Now I wear the Iceland hat. So
I want to ask you, I'm talking to you and I'm thinking, what you've got a lot of different experiences, your work background, the people you've come into contact with, vary from very wealthy to just your average Joe, right?
sure.
And what in you, where did you develop that kind of adventurous, kind of open, let me go out there and put myself in the water, in the deep end, where did you develop that? Where does that come from?
I would call it curiosity, being naive, but driven, right? Even as a child, I was always getting into something, and not in a bad way, but just like, for instance, I remember being a kid and my grandfather had a junk pile of wood, and my dad was a builder. So if I found a hammer and nails, I went and I made myself a little fort with all the scraps of wood, and I made it 2 levels with just scraps of wood. And it stayed, and it was an eyesore, by the way. It was an eyesore in the backyard. But I was the grandchild, and grandchildren get privileges that even the kids can't get, right? So, so I used it to the best of my ability. And then when I was sick of it, I tore it down, and then it became firewood, and we burned it, and everyone was so happy. But but I don't really know, but that's just kind of my genetic makeup of who I am, and that's all I can attribute it to, really.
You enjoy meeting new people and
Oh,
experiencing new
I
things.
love meeting new people, new experiences. I am a foodie. That's where I get a little bit of this chub wub. I've lost some weight, but some of it is still there,
You're in Miami, my friend. You
I
are
know.
in Miami.
I know.
That's
And
dangerous.
I know, and believe me, it's coming off quickly too. Like the longer I stay here, the more I shed, and I'm pretty happy.
Why? Is
So,
that because you're going to the beach?
well, I do go to the beach.
Mhm.
However, I just think it's like the environment, right? So mostly everyone is in tip-top shape. You can see a
Interesting.
70 or 80-year-old, like I can see a 70 or 80-year-old man, and he's in shape. Like
Mm.
he's walking or running or rollerblading or doing something. Or I went to Ocean Drive, like I just kind of went on like the long walk, and they're there doing chin-ups, push-ups. I was like, oh, I do not have an excuse. Right. So I'm like, I need to be healthy for me. Right. For me.
That is interesting because that was one of the things also when I came to Iceland. Like I saw people who were 60 and up in better shape than me.
Yeah.
And then
That's something
I
to you.
gotta tell you, when this volcano erupted, the newer one, I am not gonna butcher the name. Uh, I went there to hike there, and on the way there, I went with my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-laws, and my wife, and my ex-wife, and the kids, right? And a couple of kids, and like they're all way ahead of me, you know. And we hadn't even gotten to the hard part yet, and I was like, "Oh man, this is not going to end well," And like her father, my ex-wife's father was behind me, helping me up a hill, and the man is like 2 decades older than me. I'm like, this is not good. Nobody's filming this, right? This is it's
Lucky
ridiculous.
you.
They have like
Lucky
little
you.
kids, people going up with their kids and their babies and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a foreigner. Because they were just like, boom, yeah, this is it. They're like, are you wearing the right clothes? You're not wearing the right clothes. You're going to freeze. Okay, see ya. Beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Yes, that is such a great
Yeah,
story.
the culture here is something that it's one of the things that I think the only thing I knew when I came to Iceland was I remember reading a National Geographic book, and it had women in the traditional costume, like a corset and the hat and everything, really nice. And it showed like the grass covered houses and whatnot. And I thought that's how they live. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. And people were asking me when I got here, like, do they have electricity? Are the penguins? Do they come up to you? I was like, no, this is all wrong. See, now this is why travel is important. So you don't sound like an idiot, So yeah, no. But you originally are from my hometown.
Yeah.
New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
I
how
was
long?
born in New Haven. I kind of
Mhm.
lived in both places because we have a family home in New Haven, but I grew up in New Haven and in Branford, Connecticut, like just a few miles away, and those were two very different places. New Haven was the inner city. Branford was the suburbs, and I always tell people, and they were like, "Well, what is Branford like?" I said, "It's a shoreline town." So basically, I was a surfer with a surfboard, but without the surf, right?
Right?
Right? There's no surf. You can have a
Yeah, no
surfboard,
sir.
there's
No
beach,
sir, sir.
all that stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm from. And
So now
again,
you're in Miami
contrast,
now,
right?
though, right?
I'm in Miami right now. I'll be going back to Connecticut like towards the end of February, just for a hot moment. But we're gonna sell this show to some network. I'm excited about it, and then and then once we do that, I'll be officially moving one of the businesses down here, which will be the travel business. The production company will stay in Connecticut because of the 30% tax credit. Can't leave that money on the table, right? So that will stay up there with the people that are up there. I'll come down here and we'll just continue to work.
You know, what might be interesting for any Icelanders who are listening, maybe they know anyway, but there's different vibes, right? East Coast, South, from Connecticut, East Coast to Florida. And this is why a lot of Americans, they could travel inside the country and feel like they've gone to different countries, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Totally different lifestyle, the people have a different vibe. You know, that New York vibe is definitely East Coast, that New York, get it done. And the Florida, if I remember, because I was only in Florida for my training and when I was in the Navy briefly. And I just remember a little more laid back, a little more.
Yeah. However, you got to remember this, and you know this just from where you're from. There's a difference between a Floridian and a Miamian, right? So being in Florida is different. True. Being in Miami is different. I personally think of Miami as its own little country. Because it's so different. So it's such a melting pot. You've got Cubans, you've got Russians, you've got Haitians, you've got Jamaicans, you've got, so many different cultures here. And they all dominate in their own way. There's one thing they have in common. They love the sun. They love the beach. They love what Miami has to offer. And I would definitely recommend anyone who's coming to Miami, just learn a little bit of Spanish before you get here, because it is extremely helpful. Because I love watching people from the north come down, like meaning past Connecticut, like maybe Vermont, Maine, who may have very, very light complexion skin, and then they go to address someone else thinking it's a shared experience with their life and it's all the same, and that person turns around to them and talks in Spanish and they're like, ooh, they're so shocked. No, I love it because they're like smacked with it, and don't assume. And everyone's experience, it's not your shared experience. That's not the world we live in. A lot of people still have that mindset. Things are changing now. It'll continue to change, whether you like it or not. You got to accept it. And this is what I mean by, like, it's different down here. The melting pot is different. And you just have to come down, experience things in your own way, and, and just take it from there. Yeah. Just take it from there.
All right. So the company, if we can talk about that, is multinational. You deal with people from different parts of the world. So how did that come about? What made you go in that direction instead of just looking for people in the States?
So we put out an opportunity to build a true startup, right? A true startup during the pandemic when no one was getting paid doing anything. And we started it that way. Now we're in the process of, raising capital and things like that. And we're doing it where we're self-funding it through pre-sales of the platform pretty soon. So, and that will be our pre-seed round. And then we have the seed round already kind of established on how that's going to go. And that's going to be with an institution who's interested in working with us. And that's anywhere between, right now, on the low end, it's at 5 million. On the high end, it'll be at 10 million. So we're excited about that. We just need to continue on our end and execute on that. And then we go right into the next round. So
kind of, do you consider a company like an American company? Because I know there's
no.
Okay. You have multinational
Yeah, so we've got people in Egypt, Zimbabwe, Iran, India, Iceland, America. We had 2 people in the Ukraine, and it just continues to grow. And Indonesia actually too. So I don't know if we've got people with all the like I countries for some reason. That's like the majority. Indonesia, India, Iceland, Iran, but that's the way it's happened right now. We just need Italy and Ireland. We're good. I think we'll pretty much have them all. We just invited people to come and participate, and the ones that have done so, they're extremely happy that they did. And we'll continue to grow, of course. We're excited about the next wave of growth that we will experience, and there's growing pains. Growing pains are good, because you learn something.
That's what I'm gonna ask you as a CEO. This is what I'm gonna ask you because it ties into a show that we did previous with another good friend of mine who he's in the HR. He's in HR here in Iceland, and we were talking about the different management styles and like problems that might arise from managing people from different cultural backgrounds and how they approach work and how they approach issues and how they approach problems. So like positives, negatives with having such a diverse group of people working together. But let's focus on the positives. Like, what does that bring? And I can imagine a lot to a travel platform. But
so for us, we're such a unique group because our team is made up of so many different people. So everyone's experience, like when we talk about like where we started and where we are now, and I listen to what they've learned along the way, I'm really, really surprised by that. Because to me, I'm still learning every day, and I certainly don't know everything, and I'm proud of that because that gives me room to learn more, right? And it's the lessons, what didn't work, and trying something new, getting a project from A to B, and just trying to accomplish different exact objectives. Because with this, for us, we've got a research and development team, we've got a design team, we've got a front end coding team, we've got a back end coding team, and now we're going through the process of dealing with a tech provider, and we're building, now it will be, I would call it holistic. So there are so many things that we experience throughout trying to build this and make this platform happen. And what's difficult, I can tell you this, is like, so right after I do this call, I'm going into the television part, right? But 3 hours later, I'll have to go right back into the platform part and do this, so it's never the same. It doesn't get stale. And it keeps things interesting, and it certainly keeps us grounded. So, we just continue to move in that direction. So,
okay, awesome. So, what can we expect to see, within this coming year from Travelpolitans, and especially like in Iceland here? What can we expect to be looking forward to see?
So we have a trailer up right now, but that's going to be changing pretty soon because we're getting ready to go into production and film a few things. So you can expect for the television series itself for us to go into production and to complete our episodes this year. And then for the platform, for Travelpolitans Go, you can expect within the next 120 days to be able to experience using the platform. So
okay, is there any like Facebook, Instagram like you want to
Sure.
plug, people can just check out.
You can go to Facebook to find, or Instagram to find Travelpolitans Go, or you can go to Facebook or Instagram to find the series Travelpolitans. I'm on Instagram at Aspen.Powers, so that's how you can find me. I'm there, so that's some of the ways you can reach us right now. Until something else comes along, you'll be able to reach us there. So,
all right, this would be really cool. I think it'd be really interesting, especially considering like what's going on in the world today. I think that being able to see people travel and doing it successfully would be really nice.
Yes, agreed.
With that, I just want to thank you again for coming on. And
thank you for having me, man.
No problem. Anytime. When it hits the air,
yes,
you got to come back.
So I'll make a deal. My deal is before it hits the air, we'll come back and we'll show you some of before it premieres. We'll give you a sneak peek. That's a few things. Ooh. And and so you can share with everyone else, what's happening and what the excitement is all about. And,
you're giving me an exclusive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of course.
All right. I like it. Very good. Very good. So that will probably end it right there. Aspen, again, thank you very much for sharing your time. And I know you're busy, you got things going on, but I appreciate you taking the time, sit down, talk with us, just give this information out there. And always a pleasure talking to you. Me and you, we always love to throw
have a good time. Yeah,
and we always have a good time,
So we always have a good time, and I always tell people, if you're not having a good time, or if your story isn't good, you better make up a good one, right? So
there you go.
There you go. See you later, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too, and stay warm.
Yeah, yeah. Ta-ta. All right, man. Bye-bye.